We welcome Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12 Menards Richmond Ford Mustang, with us, coming off his first top 5 of the season at Las Vegas last week. And we've got questions lined up here, Ryan, so we'll just dive in and we'll just get started, okay, and get you out of here as quick as we can.
Okay.
Let's kick it off with Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Ryan, the last couple of races were at Homestead, where the championship was for a long time. Then went to Vegas, where a lot of people had thought maybe the championship would go. And now you're at Phoenix, where the championship is. I'm curious, just in general, do you think the championship should move around? And if it does move around, do you think it's better to have a race there at that track early in the year? Or did you like it at Homestead, where it was the first time there?
Yeah, I think, I've always said, I think it should move around each year. I think you give other tracks and areas different opportunities to showcase a championship race. I think it's good for the tracks. It's good for the community. It's good for just the variation of, you never know what you're going to get each year. Or you know what you're going to get, but it's at a different place. So, you look at every other sport. That's what they do. You don't have the Super Bowl in the same place every year. You move it around. So, I don't know. We're kind of limited, at that time of the year. You can't really have it, east or north. You're kind of limited to some of the tracks that you can go to. But I'd like to see it move around. It's cool that you go to Phoenix. As far as you just do the championship race, the championship race is the only time you run at that racetrack a year. I don't really have a preference on that. It's nice to kind of build a little notebook. I really don't think it's a bad thing to go to a racetrack, like Phoenix. Now we race Phoenix this weekend, and then we go back there for the championship race. I don't think that's a bad thing. You kind of get a little bit of an idea of what you need, and it really gives you something to work on. If you do make it to the championship for. So I'll tell you right now, every single team is really focused on Phoenix this weekend. Just because if you do happen to make it to the championship for, you need a pretty good notebook going back there. So to answer your question, I think it's pretty neat that, you go to the championship track early in the year so you can kind of focus on it. But I'd like to see it, move around to some different racetracks. I think that'd be cool for the community, and it would definitely, help a track out too, for sure.
So do you think people focus more on Phoenix this weekend because it is the place for the championship than, let's say, Vegas last week, where it's in the playoffs, but not the championship race?
I think teams focus on every track, to the fullest of their abilities, because you want to win, you want to win every single weekend. But when you're going to a track, early in the year, just like Vegas, what we're going to return to, and it is in the playoffs, you definitely build your notebook up. You take notes after every single race, and teams and drivers, they build off of that previous race. That's how you adjust, right? For the next one. It don't matter if it's a championship race, if it's in the playoffs, if it's the double header at Pocono, you're really focused on the previous race to build off the next one. So I don't think there's more emphasis on really paying attention to this race. I think it's just like everyone else. You're always focused and paying attention just to build your notebook up. But everyone knows going into this race that, hey, if we're in the championship for this year, we really have to pay attention. So I don't think any more than another race or racetrack, but you definitely have that in the back of your head.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. We've got a bunch of questions lined up. So if I can ask at this point, if we go one question apiece, and then if we get through everybody, we'll circle back for more follow-ups. Okay, so let's move on here now to Claire B. Lang. Go ahead, Claire.
Got it. Ryan, talk about Phoenix. You had a 5th place finish at Vegas. How do you look at Phoenix?
Yeah, it was, really nice to get a good run, at Vegas, our first good run of the year. We struggled, getting going this year, and just unfortunate things happening. And it was nice just to have a solid run. And I didn't think we had a car that could contend for the win. The 5 was pretty spectacular, but it was nice to have a strong car and could run the top 5 most of the day. And looking forward to Phoenix. We were really good there in the November race last year. Not being in the championship for, we ran 5th or 6th all day long and ended up running 6th, I think. So looking forward to that one. Our short track program, we've put a lot of emphasis on that as a whole group, for Team Penske. So I think I'm looking forward to that. And this is the first, I'm gonna call Phoenix a short track. It's our first short track of the year. So a lot of teams are going to look at where you stack up, every team looked at Homestead and Vegas as a mile and a half to see where you stack up there compared to other teams. And people are really going to be focusing on this one too, to kind of see where your short track program is at right now. So I'm looking forward to it. It's always been a good track for us, and hopefully we can build on our solid run there in the fall last year.
Have some fun at Phoenix. Thanks for your time. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Let's go to Woody Kane, Motor Racing Network. Woody.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for your time. I wanted to look at another track you had a really good run at last year, although a different time of year, Atlanta, the following week. Top 5 there for you. Can you describe for people who don't drive race cars for a living, how quickly the tires get chewed up there and what that feels like to you compared to other tracks?
Yeah, Atlanta's, it's up there with the roughest track we go to as far as how abrasive the pavement is. Just it's old and worn out, and the bumps. It's really bumpy there. You have a big tunnel bump in the middle of 1 and 2, and then all through 3 and 4, it's like a wavy set of bumps. It's nothing really rigid, but it's just wavy all the way through there, and your car is all unsettled. So you ever been driving down the highway or an old road and you're like, man, they need to repave this road. This is getting really old. It's cracked. It's worn out. That's pretty much what Atlanta is, but we're going 190 mile an hour around there. I'm not saying they need to repave it by any means. They don't need to repave it. That's like the biggest comparison I can do is, you ever find yourself on a back road, you're like, wow, this is old. That's what it is. We're just going really fast around it. But I'd say Atlanta and Homestead are pretty similar as far as tire fall off. Atlanta actually might have a little bit more fall off, but it's rougher than Homestead. So I've always enjoyed Atlanta. It's a really great track. Always get, good fans out there. They do a good job of promoting that race. I'm excited to go back there. I like old, slick, worn out racetracks where you got to really search around. And, but yeah, definitely tires fall off very rapidly, and you have to be aware of that. You can't just go really hard every lap. You have to be, conscious of I have to save some stuff, or I might be really paying the price here in 15 laps. People will be driving by you on both sides. So you want to get all you can on restarts, but get all you can. And then you're like, all right, I got to go into a little bit of conservation mode, and just not abuse my stuff, because it's a long 500-mile race that you have to really be aggressive, but be mindful that if you're too aggressive, you're really going to pay the price for it late in the run.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's go to Tucker White. Go ahead, Tucker.
Oh, crap. I wasn't expecting to go already. Ryan, as we've seen with the high downforce package and most tracks, the leader passing the leader becomes a Herculean task, and many times the leader just pulls away from the field. And so, given that's the case, though, why was Sunday not the case with that?
I think you see it at all the high downforce stuff. Nowadays, when you have a track that is, not as abrasive as others, let's say Homestead, you could see the leader break away just because the track is worn out and you're lifting more. Vegas, you could run wide open around there for a while. I know when Brad was leading and I was second there, I think it was in the second stage, he was wide open around the bottom and I'm wide open running the second lane. And the draft is so big that you can just, the little bit you lose in the corner with dirty air, you just gain right back down the straightaways. So Vegas it was cool enough at Vegas to where, it wasn't a huge grip penalty until, you got 20 laps into a run, then you were kind of having to start to lift a little bit. So that's why just the leader couldn't get away from anybody. Everyone's running wide open and the draft is so big. And, you see that at, some of these other, Kansas is another good one that I can think of. Michigan obviously a little bit bigger, but yeah, Atlanta was just enough grip that day where it wasn't too hot, and a lot of people are running a lot of throttle to where you can handle pretty good in the corners, and then the draft will make up what you lose in the corners until you have to start lifting, your tires get old. So that was wild racing at Vegas. That's what this high downforce package does, and it's fun to watch, that's for sure. It can be frustrating at times if you're running around there wide open and not really going anywhere, but it's just what it is, and it's exciting for people to watch. And we try to put on a good show like we did at Vegas, and I'm happy that people enjoyed that.
All right, thank you.
Let's go to Marty Chikala. Marty.
Hey, thank you very much, Dan. Ryan, thanks for your time, man. Hope you're well. Let me turn on my video real quick. I know you're into iRacing, and yesterday iRacing released the Bristol Dirt Track. So I'm kind of curious, how much will you be relying on iRacing as for preparation in a few weeks of the Bristol Dirt Race, or will a bunch of it be off of the Ford Performance Simulator?
Yeah, I actually don't iRace at all.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. I don't have a rig at my house. Last year, when we did those iRaces, I had to go to my spotter's house. Josh Williams, he's a big iRacer, and that's what I used. But yeah, I don't iRace. I mean, it's a great program. It's a great thing that, gives a lot of people a chance to experience a lot of different cars and racetracks around the world. And, but yeah, I haven't done much of that, at all, except for when I have to do it. For multiple reasons. I mean, I think it can teach us some bad habits, I feel like, but it's a good time and probably good to get, some track time for some people. But yeah, mostly, just kind of Ford Sim stuff. And, we have practice there, which will be good, and kind of relying back to the truck dirt race I did at Bristol, at Eldora a couple times, kind of thinking back on that a little bit and kind of rewatching that race. But Bristol will be totally different. Bigger high bank track, and the cup car is going to drive a little bit different than the trucks. So that's the biggest thing. But it's nice we have practice, and it's nice to have a dad that I can maybe talk to about what he thinks. He's never driven. Obviously, sprint cars are way different than what we're going to be driving, but just as far as looking at the dirt track, how it is getting, if it's slicking off, if there's a little bit of moisture everywhere, that's just kind of heads up. You can expect all you can want to, but until you get there and you see what the track is like and how much water they put down on it, if it's rubbering up, if it's really slick, that's just game time stuff. That's what makes those, dirt guys so great at what they do, is they have to notice that every single lap, and it changes every lap, and they're have great ability to really switch up what they're doing. So yeah, just dirt sim, and kind of going into it with high hopes and seeing what the track has in it.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Good luck to you at Phoenix this weekend.
Thank you.
Hopefully some good genes that carry over, right?
We'll see. Hope so.
Zach Dean, go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Ryan, going back to Atlanta, this week is actually the 1-year anniversary going into Atlanta when NASCAR shut everything down with the whole COVID stuff. I was wondering if you could sort of look back to the week and leading up to that Atlanta race. I think NASCAR finally called it on Friday before the Saturday race, and just kind of reflect on that, and kind of when did you find out, and kind of your thoughts going back a year ago on everything at the time.
Yeah. Gosh, it doesn't feel like a year ago, does it? And, I was actually in Georgia. I was at Chase Elliott's house, and we were going to ride over to the Speedway together that day. And we were about to head out the door. And, I got some messages saying, hold up, hold tight. And we were reading things, of NBA shutting down, and things like that. So we didn't really know what was going to happen. So yeah, we were about to head out the door, and they said that, they got canceled. And, then you don't know what to expect, right? I mean, okay, this Atlanta race is canceled, but surely not the next week, or we're going to figure it out. But, then everything got shut down. So yeah, it's just, it was a difficult thing for everybody on the teams and things like that. But in the bigger picture, it was very difficult for people around the world. If just any job, it changes everyone's lives. So, it definitely doesn't feel like a year. Hopefully we're making progress on this thing of getting the world healthy again, but it's changed the way that our sport has operated. It's changed the way that everything's operated, from sports to businesses and things like that. And I'm looking forward to the day where we can all get healthy again and put this all behind us and get back to, normal life. I think everyone is, but yeah, it doesn't feel like a year. And it's changed the way we've done it, but like everyone around the world, we've made the best out of it. And I think NASCAR's and the teams have done a good job, and the tracks of making most of the situation that we're in.
Thanks.
Ashley McCubbin. Go ahead, Ashley, you're up.
Hey, Ryan. Thank you for your time today. How has the PJ1 traction compound changed the racing at Phoenix?
Yeah. They started doing that 2 years ago. In 19, I think they first put it down. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's it. And I thought it helped it. I thought the racing at Phoenix, it got repaved in 2012, I think, 2011, 2012. And, it's just one of those things where, fairly new repaved racetracks, it takes a while for the asphalt to get where it needs to be, to where the main groove, which is the bottom there, to get worn out enough to where people will start searching around. And I think they did a good job with the PJ1 of putting it where it needed to be. We worked on it for a couple races of, okay, maybe it needs to be a little bit lower here. It needs to start here and here, try to make the lanes even. But it just gives you options. That's what you need when you have a track that is limited on options, whether it's, the shape, the asphalt on it. The VHT stuff is good because it gives you those options if you do it right. I think they've been doing a good job of getting it right and getting it better throughout the years, for sure. But I think it's helped the racing. Gives you multiple lanes to run in. And that's what people want to see, not only the fans, but the drivers. The drivers don't want single file around the bottom either. I mean, that's not fun for anybody. So I think they did a good job of opening that up and putting it down where it needs to be. And I think it's in a good spot.
Thank you.
Jeff Magliacetti. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks. Hi, Ryan. Thank you for joining us today. I just wanted to bounce off of Zach's question a little bit in terms of 1 year since the quote-unquote social distancing era began. You've managed to have some fairly considerable success during this period, and that accounts for you as well going through a crew chief change at the time too, but yet you were able to get to Victory Lane, Talladega, and run decently well, and you got back on track last week with the top 5 at Vegas. So how proud are you of the resiliency of the 12 team to be able to basically carve out some success in this most unusual era of racing?
I'm really proud. Obviously you want to be doing better and better, but really proud of what we've been able to do. The whole team, really all Team Penske, but everyone getting new crew chiefs and teams. And, the 2 and 22 made the championship 4 last year. And I thought we had a good year last year. We just didn't quite put it all together, which limited us to our success. But I'll tell you, first 4 weeks last year, I thought were awesome. We showed great speed, when Todd and I were able to work together through practice, things like that. And then everything shut down. I thought, we did the best we could of still communicating and unload with no practice, and trying to make the most of it. So it's just nice to build off of last year. Coming back with the same people on your team, I think really helps figure out what you need to do to be better. The benefits of the off season, you can sit down with, me and Todd and say, okay, what did we do well? And we can keep doing, but still improve on. And what do we really need to improve on? We really need to put emphasis on. And we've been trying to apply those things here this year. And I think we finally made a step in the right direction last week. And hopefully we can keep carrying this momentum. But it's been a blast to work with Todd Gordon. He's a very smart guy, a great crew chief, championship crew chief with Joey. And I hope to try to, replicate that success with him.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, Ryan, I'm going to try to race through a few more here. Let's go to Eric Smith. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, thanks. Ryan, congrats on the new addition to the Blaney family, first off.
Thanks. Yeah.
Also, how much does Phoenix change? Obviously, having 2 races the same year on it. I know one's in the spring, one's in the fall. But does the track change at all between this weekend to when you go back in November? And does it change a driving style, anything like that?
It's all weather dependent. It's all temperature driven. I feel like this time of year in Phoenix and then in the fall, it's almost the same temperature. We're getting there early enough in the year to where it's still fairly cool. And I feel like in the fall, it's the same way. So, it'd be different if we went to Phoenix in August, and then we went back there for the championship race. It'd be a completely different racetrack. But it being same temperature, I think it puts on pretty much the same show. And then having multiple races there, the Xfinity guys running this weekend, and then we run after them. And then, having 1 or 2 more races before ours in November, I think rubbers the track in a little bit more. So the only difference would be, maybe we get to that VHT a little bit quicker on Sunday's race than we would, in the fall than we would, here this weekend, just because the bottom is more rubbered in. So, but that's all. I base tracks on temperature, and I feel like it's going to be pretty similar between the two races.
Cool. Thanks, man. Congrats again, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Jarrett Lundberg, the Iceberg, go for it.
Hey Ryan, how's it going? I want to ask, with this week being at Phoenix with the 750 package, and there being 4 races in the playoffs that are a mile or shorter, how does this week change you and your team's perspective of the season overall, with how you perform?
Well, like I said, I feel like this is really your first short track race. It is. I mean, the only other low downforce race we had this year was the Daytona Road Course, and that's just obviously different. So we'll really get a good feel on where your teams stack up. Every team in the off season, they try to improve from last year with the low downforce, high downforce, speedway, road course package. No matter what it is, you're working on your stuff. So, and the thing is, you don't know where you're going to stack up. That's the kind of the beauty of racing. You don't know where you're going to stack up until you unload on the certain weekend. And now it's just how you start the race off. So you put a big emphasis that, not only this one for the championship race, but it's for where you stack up on all the short tracks you're coming up. So that's a big thing of where you think you'll be. And if you got some work to do, you really, if you're behind the 8 ball here leaving Phoenix, you're like, all right, we got a lot of work to do before. I think Martinsville would be really our next race with this. So just it's where you stack up, just like the mile and a half we just had. You see where you're at, and if you need to put some work in. We all thought at Homestead our mile and a half cars worked great, and we put a lot of work in before Phoenix, changing some stuff up, and it showed. And so you apply that to both packages, and definitely do that here this weekend for Phoenix going forward.
All right, thank you, man.
Ryan, I'd like to try to squeeze in 2 more. Okay, Greg Engel is up.
Hey, Uncle Ryan. You were pretty good on the crew. Let's hope there's a second season. But does doing that kind of stuff, and you're good at it, whet your appetite to do stuff like that in the future?
If you're talking about quitting racing and going acting, no, not even close.
But
no, I know what you mean. But I mean, that stuff's fun to me. I enjoy doing it. The small stuff, is, I've always said, as long as it doesn't take away from racing, that's stuff I don't mind doing. I don't do a lot of it, maybe one a year. But it's not going to take away from racing. If they want me to, if there's a conflict with, if I have to go film something for some show or anything, and I have to fly right to the track and it's taken up a couple of days of prep, I'm not doing it. We did the crew in December last year, and it was just, not working. So didn't have any conflict, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy seeing the behind the scenes of, movie or TV sets. It's actually really fascinating if you've never seen behind the scenes set before of how many men and women are involved in production and preparation that never, aren't on screen. Everybody from the writers, director to the light person. There's a lot of people that are involved with that never get any, recognition, that aren't on the TV. And kind of same with racing. There's a lot of people in these race shops that are never at the track, things like that, but they do a lot of work of whether it's building chassis or putting body on the car, engineer work. I kind of compared to that. There's a lot more people than you think than the finished product. So I enjoy that stuff. It's been a pleasure to do, and I'll do a little bit of it here and there. It's just got to be the right stuff that I enjoy and doesn't interfere with my job.
Thanks, pal. Have fun in West Virginia.
As a Seinfeld fan, when I saw you and your character, you playing yourself, you struck me as Newman. You're like Kevin's nemesis, the way, you took his wings and all that stuff, and just the banter between you two. I said, that's just like Newman and Seinfeld, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. No. Won't give anything away. All right. Let's close it out here with Jordan Bianchi from The Athletic. Go ahead, Jordan, take us home.
Hey, Ryan, appreciate your time. 2 quick things. One, following up on a question you were asked earlier, did you and Chase get out the door last year on your way to Atlanta Moore Speedway, or were you still at his house when you got the messages to stay home?
We were still at his place. We were sitting around waiting to go, and I forget who texted me, but I was like, well, we need to wait here for a second. There might be something going on here that we might not have a race. So we were still sitting there, but we were less than 30 minutes away from leaving when we heard about everything.
And then a follow up on that, when you got the news that the Atlanta had been postponed, Homestead the following week had been postponed, what's going through your mind at that time? Are you thinking, hopefully we're back in a couple weeks, or did you kind of have an awareness that this is probably going to be a while before we're back again?
Man, I don't know. I can't quite recall what exactly I was thinking, but yeah, right when they postponed those two, I don't think, at least I didn't completely understand what the coronavirus was at the time. I don't think a lot of people really quite understood the severity of this disease and how widespread it was going to affect the world, because it was pretty, early stages in America of us really learning about it. At least me, more people might have known more about it, but yeah, I was like, well, we'll see how long this goes. They've postponed it for 2 weeks. Maybe it's just something we'll get fixed up for right away, and we'll go back racing here in 2 weeks, and we'll make this stuff up here whenever. But then you don't know. You get through 1 week, and then you get through the second week. Like, well, how long is this going to last? How long are we going to not have anything to do, and everything's going to be shut down? So it was just a lot of unknowns. And I think everyone was in that boat of how long are we going to be not working, and everything's going to be shut down. I can't see our families and all that stuff. So all that stuff was kind of going through my head, at least. And I think a lot of people is just, you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. You just try to figure out all you can by watching whatever you need to, or reading it on the web. And but yeah, just a huge change in everyone's lives at a rapid pace. And I think it really took everyone, by surprise when stuff happened like that.
Thank you very much.